Hi y'all, I hope you can hear me okay. It's Katie and I wanted to come back with another bit of astrology news for us all to contemplate in the next coming days. We have a new moon this time in Scorpio. So I have my notes here. Like I said, hopefully you can hear me okay. I have this new microphone and it's weird. I'm still trying to figure out videography and stuff like that. So anyway, like I said, this time I'm going to be talking about a new moon. So new moons are the dark moon. It's a low energy time. It's a great time for setting intentions and reflecting and thinking about where it is that we want to go, but it is not necessarily a great time for action because there's just not a lot of energy there to work with. So actually, especially in the sign of Scorpio, this is the moon's debilitation point. And it's one of those rare times as well where Western and Eastern astrology are in alignment, because in both cases, sidereally and tropically, the new moon is happening in Scorpio. And like I said, moon does not like being here in Scorpio. It's shrouded, it's secretive, and especially here in Anuradha, it's not the exact debilitation star, but in mid-Scorpio here in the star of Anuradha, it is ruled by Saturn. So the great malefic Saturn that holds us back and puts restrictions on us. So Scorpio is already a difficult time, and here in the United States, where I live, obviously, it's very dark outside. Like, it's almost always dark. Like, the sun takes a long time to rise and we don't get much time before it sets. So this shroud of darkness here represents a time of reflection that, like I said, in tropical astrology, happens to align here in the northern hemisphere with fall time and heading towards the darkest days. With Anuradha being ruled by Saturn and in this very dark and shrouded, mysterious Scorpio, this new moon, this is a very mystical time. This is a time of, you know how people say when the veil is thin? This is that type of a time. But it's not just real ghosts that we need to be worried about, it's our own inner ghosts. So Anuradha is actually, despite the double malefic ruling of Mars with Scorpio and the greater malefic of Saturn, Anuradha itself is still a Deva type, or an angelic, higher-minded, peaceful nakshatra. And so it's kind of a paradox in a way where in relationships or in work, in our goals or in ourselves, or in ourselves, if we face our inner darkness, if we're willing to dive into the feelings of emptiness, the feelings of lack, those sort of darker things that we try to push away with addictions or distractions, delving into work, or even distracting ourselves with relationships, it's almost contrarian to think the more we dive into the darker sides of that, actually the more healed and committed and successful we can be. Because another thing about the star Anuradha is it's symbolized by either the lotus, which has a lot to do with this Saturnian nature of lotuses, just like lilies up here, like water lilies where we are here in South Carolina. Lotuses grow in murky, stagnant waters and in swamplands, basically, just like the lilies do. But they're this beautiful bloom that comes up out of the murkiness, and out of this bloom we can get abundance, we can get love, we can get the beauty of life through pushing through and identifying the areas that still need transformation, which is a huge element of the sign Scorpio. Another symbol for the star Anuradha is a triumphal arch, because actually it's very connected to the sign before it, Vishaka. And today, right now, it is still Vishaka when I'm recording this, so it's been Vishaka season for the last couple of weeks or so. And through Vishaka, in this joint idea of it being Radha, or you can think of it almost like a finish line or a climax, however you would like to see it, the sort of like gateway. It could also be a wedding arch. And so to get to the success, we have to not only have the spark and the insight that comes from the prior sign Vishaka, but you also need the longevity and the persistence that comes from Anuradha in mid-Scorpio to be able to obtain your goals. And it's through this transformation that can only occur through acknowledging the darkness with which we wish to change, that we can actually get the abundance, the power, and the success that we're looking for, whether it's career or in love. So with all of that lore out of the way, some of the things that I recommend are, of course, as always, once again, this is a great time for anything meditative, doing art, especially journaling, or even things that move the body. Like, I have been trying to go on walks as often as I can to stay healthy, which is the physical body, and Mars and Scorpio have a lot to do with that. There's just something about a moving meditation that just allows you to move through darkness and illuminate things to you that you wouldn't have known. And I really love doing that with walking, like I said, because you're kind of open to experience in that way, whether you're, if you have a treadmill at home and you're consciously, because this is about bringing awareness to the darkness, so consciously choosing to listen to a podcast or watch an informational documentary or something like that while you're moving your body or while you're exercising. Or something I also love to do, because Anuradha, this Mars-Saturn connection, is very connected with yoga and mystical powers and stuff like that. Being able to start your workout or whatever you're doing to move your body with a single word or a single intention in mind. Say it is love and relationships. Anuradha, their deity is Mitra, which is the god of friendship. So perhaps like before your run, you can think about something like friendship, and then allow yourself and your body to just move through and let any downloads come through as you just get out of that stagnant place. Like, say, like I said, with your body, if you're staying in the same place all the time, you don't get the opportunity for sudden insights and sudden revelations that could be exactly what you need to obtain what it is that you're looking for. Another thing to look at is from the last star Bharani, which was the full moon. The last full moon was in Aries, which is also very Martian, just like Scorpio, but it's way more active, it's way more selfish, and it's way more about feelings and just impulsively going after whatever it is that you want. And instead here in Scorpio, if you were reflecting on things that light you up and make you feel passionate, now in this particular new moon is a time to pause and to really contemplate what those boundaries were that came up to what you desired, and really not acting on them necessarily, but really delving into them and finding those limitations. So yeah, just looking at things like shared resources, friendships, are you giving too much in your relationships, or are there places where you could be giving more? Is there something that you're looking for that you can act on, or that perhaps you need to ask for? These sort of enmeshed parts of Scorpio are going to be very obvious right now, but try not to get too down. It is dark outside, and it's very easy to get depressed when you don't have enough vitamin D. So take your vitamin D as well. But hopefully you guys will feel a little bit more supported, knowing that this is just kind of some activity in the heavens right now that is influencing us, and it's for the greater good, and you can achieve what it is that you desire, and I believe in you. So yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. I hope you enjoy the new moon, and be safe out there. Bye. One more thing that I wanted to add, by the way, sorry, you're a little handheld, so hopefully it's not too bad or too disorienting, but yeah, just one more thing I wanted to add here is that Mercury and Mars are also in this star Anuradha right now. So once again, this can be a time where tension, I'll probably post it in the description thing or whatever, but anyway, this can be a time where you can get into arguments, and Mercury is also in retrograde, so try not to get stuck either in arguments with people, or even a situation where you're kind of going on repeat on negative mental cycles. Because, the whole purpose of both Mars and Mercury coming through in Anuradha with the moon at this time is to clear out the clutter. We're in the stagnant waters, and we are trying to root ourselves down and bring out of it the abundance in life. So yes, this is a very moody, sensitive, and sort of irritable time, like a moody, irritable time where you know, there's not a lot of energy, but then that's the very thing that makes you grumpy. You know, us women, us women, we already deal with that with things like PMS or menopause. Like, women have to go through these sort of cycles all the time, but this affects everybody, okay? Scorpio is a very moody, watery, feminine sign. So yes, just be careful if you find yourself getting drawn either into negativity. Ooh, sorry, hopefully you can see. Either negativity with others, arguments with especially friends, but also lovers, people who you share money with, or families, family members, resources, people who are in your home with you, stuff like that. But also your own mind in the own ways that you are stuck. So just wanted to add that part in there about Mars and Mercury, about this new moon in Scorpio. And hopefully you guys will stay safe, stay warm, but remember to take care of yourself. And I love you all. Bye.